Travel Michigan. I'm Dave Lorenz, and we are in the midst of a special month. You might not have noticed it, but April is Michigan Wine Month, and we're going to find out why Michigan is such a special place for the production of wine and for the enjoyment of wine now by introducing you to Claudia Tiagi. She is a consultant with the Michigan Wine Council. Claudia, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Dave.
Nice to have you here, especially during this month as we celebrate Michigan Wine Month. What makes Michigan wines so special for you?
Well, I think it's their quality and the fact that I compare it a great deal, the timeline, to the California wine industry. When I first became a sommelier a number of years ago, California wines were just being introduced into the market, and Michigan is sort of following that timeline. They're just being introduced into the market now, and their quality is just beginning to be recognized, and they are really just amazing little gems. That's where kind of the similarity ends with California wines, though,
yeah.
Because we are a different climate. We have more of a European-type climate, you could say, a cool climate region. So our wines have a different nuance, a different quality, more aligned with French or German, and some Northern Italian wines, too.
And we don't produce as much as California, obviously. We just don't have the number of farms and such out there. But
well, what's interesting is this is the fourth year of the Michigan Wine Showcase,
mm-hmm.
and when we started, Michigan had just 70-something wineries, and now Michigan has 101. So similar to California, in the 1970s when things first started, they had many fewer wineries than they do today.
Yeah, it is amazing how this growth has just really exploded in Michigan recently.
In 4 years, almost, 20.
Yeah. Well, and people kind of think of Michigan wineries as only being in the northwest and southwest part of the Lower Peninsula, but that's not true anymore, is it?
Absolutely not. And although we do have what are called AVAs, American Viticultural Areas of Old Mission Peninsula and of Leelanau Peninsula, we do have the Lake Michigan Shore AVA and the Fenville AVA, but people are exploring making wines in what is called the Pioneer Wine Trail area, which is around Jackson,
mm-hmm.
and in other areas, too. There are even a couple brave folks starting to open wineries and explore vineyards in the lower part of the Upper Peninsula, and then also in the Thumb area. So I think we're going to be seeing different microclimates of Michigan being explored, and I've tasted some very exciting new varietals just in this past year.
Mostly white wines, or are we starting to be recognized for the reds as well?
Reds are coming along very excitingly, actually, and Pinot Noir and Cabernet Franc are leading the pack, most definitely. But also a wine called, grape variety called Blaufränkisch, or Lemberger is right up there and very interesting. That's a grape that's grown in Austria to really great results, and we're finding in Michigan that that's the same too. But the Cabernet Francs and the Pinot Noirs are very good, and actually there's some experimentation with success in Merlot and to a small degree Cabernet Sauvignon too.
That sounds good. Well, the thing that we really get excited about at Travel Michigan is that the wineries are more than producers of great wine. They also provide this great experience for travelers as they're looking for things to do and places to visit and attractions to go to. So many of these wineries around the state just offer these great experiences for visitation.
I like to call the Old Mission Peninsula and Lemena Napa North, but also the Lake Michigan Shore and the Pioneer Wine Trail wineries just offer tremendous experience. And the Pioneer Wine Trail is just a 2-hour drive from Detroit, so you can actually experience real wine country very close by, and make a pleasant Sunday afternoon or an entire weekend if you'd like.
Yeah, close by wherever you are in Michigan, because there's so many wineries now. We're talking to Claudia Tiaghi. She is a consultant with the Michigan Wine Council, master sommelier, and working on the Michigan Wine Showcase just about a week away in Detroit. It's going to be at the Rattlesnake Club in Detroit on April 15th. Why don't you tell us about that showcase and what people can expect to see there, Claudia?
Well, this is a project that's been snowballing for 4 years, and this is the second year that we will be at the Rattlesnake. It is just a delightful event where we have over 25 wineries, and probably by the time of the event we'll be having a few more. And our guests get to walk the floor and explore these 25 wineries, a sampling of the very best wines from these wineries, get to meet and greet the winery personnel, including many of the winemakers themselves and the winery owners, and ask the questions that they've always wanted to ask about Michigan wines while they're tasting their very best. We do ask the wineries that they bring what they feel our population would want to taste. And we know that this wine market is very sophisticated. So we have some really wonderful, interesting wines to show. And along with that, the Rattlesnake chef, Chris Franz, prepares lavish appetizers. And the guests are invited to graze and sip and chat the whole evening long, and it's just a delightful time.
Do you need to get tickets in advance, or can you just buy them at the door?
Well, what's really fun and exciting is if you go online to MichiganWine.com, you can purchase your tickets in advance for $38. At the door, there's still a reasonable $45, and you have the opportunity to cover the entire state of Michigan wine-wise and have an exceptional evening food-wise and chat with fellow wine lovers and learn so much. It's really extraordinary.
Well, that's actually why I like to visit the wineries all around the state, because you can learn all about the various wines and their production, and what you can expect, and how to pair certain foods with certain wines. So here's an opportunity for you to see this all in a big venue with something like 25 different wineries represented, a couple of master sommeliers, the chef, of course, from the Rattlesnake Club as well, all coming up on April 15th at the Rattlesnake Club in Detroit, the Michigan Wine Showcase, and that should be a great event. Thank you, Claudia. Claudia Tiaghi, consultant with the Michigan Wine Council. If you'd like more information on anything involving Michigan wines, just go to MichiganWines.com. And, of course, we'll have a link from Michigan.org. Speaking of Michigan.org, you can always go there to find out all the great events that are happening all throughout the state. Some of them I get to tell you about right now, including Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band performing together at the Palace of Auburn Hills. They're going to be performing this coming Thursday night, kind of where it all began in Bob's hometown, so check that out. in the area. It's Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band at the Palace of Auburn Hills Thursday night. Here's a different type of music. Men of Music, their spring show at the Midland Center for the Arts over in Midland this coming Friday and Saturday. These guys get together, something like 50 men in chorus. They have a good time, a lot of laughter, a lot of hilarity, and some good music as well, so consider that. Other music activities you might want to consider over at the Breslin Student Events Center, the Wharton Center, actually, in East Lansing. Carrie Underwood's Blown Away Tour is visiting there on Saturday, so that should be a good event. And in Wyoming, the Grand River Valley Railroad Club Train Show is happening in the Wyoming area, so consider that as well. Last one we have time to tell you about, the Great Lakes Art Fair, is at the Suburban Collection Showplace, and that's this Friday through Sunday in Novi. We're going to find out what's happening on Mackinac Island as they prepare for the season next, right here on Travel Michigan, where your trip begins at Michigan.org.